The officiating, just what do you guys make of it so far? And I know that they've tried to kind of course correct.
Well,
So this first one is in regards to the referees.
I was just going to say I deserve my technical. I know that.
All right. They don't need any. Yeah.
No, I mean, I think, look, you know, the reality is a lot of us spend a lot of time in the off season.
They don't need any. Yeah.
No, I mean, I think, look, you know, the reality is a lot of us spend a lot of time in the off season on various committees trying to remedy this officiating thing. And you know what we said was that we wanted everything called. Freedom of movement needs to be a thing, and it was not tonight. And I think that there's going to be a calibration, of course, there is. But this felt a lot like last year.
For this team is play make. Like at the end of the day, I can score the ball, I can make threes, but what I can do best for this team is make plays for my teammates, and I know that. And you know, getting my feet in the paint, spraying it to my teammates. I think that's, you know, what I'm trying to focus on the most, and that, you know, takes my mind away from feeling like I need to make every shot. And, you know, when I get my feet in the paint, good things happen. I can get to the free throw line. I can finish well around the rim. I feel like obviously I've only made 1 3 tonight. But like I haven't let that affect me. I obviously haven't shot the ball as well as I would have liked the first 2 games, but my shot feels great and I feel like it's right there, but I haven't let that bother my mind through these first 2 games. And you know, the best thing I can do for this team is play make. Like at the end of the day, I can score the ball, I can make threes, but what I can do best for this team is make plays for my teammates, and I know that. And you know, getting my feet in the paint, spraying it to my teammates. I think that's, you know, what I'm trying to focus on the most. And
He just exposed everything, and I mean everything. While every major sports network is talking about missed shots and manufactured drama, Caitlin Clark has been quietly dropping bombshells that reveal the real story inside the Indiana Fever organization. Over the past 72 hours across multiple press conferences, she said 5 things that completely change how we understand what's happening behind the scenes. And the mainstream media, they're missing it completely. They're too busy chasing clickbait headlines to notice that Clark just gave us the most honest, brutal look inside a WNBA franchise we've ever seen. Here's what nobody else is telling you. Professional athletes don't talk like this. They're media trained to death. They give you the same boring cliches, the same safe non-answers designed to avoid controversy. But Clark just threw that playbook in the trash. She's revealing psychological battles, admitting mental hurdles, calling out officials, and exposing tactical changes that her own coaching staff implemented. This level of transparency, you don't see this in modern sports, ever. And when you're the face of a league that just secured a $3.1 billion media deal, every single word matters. So let's break down exactly what she said and why it changes everything. Let me paint you the scene that started this whole truth dump. The Fever had just survived an ugly, grinding game against the Los Angeles Sparks. Tension was thick in that arena. The final buzzer sounds, and Clark, being the competitive fire that she is, fundamentally disagreed with a non-call. She let the referee know about it. Hard, technical foul, right at the buzzer. Now here's where it gets wild. The media is circling like sharks, ready to create their narrative about the frustrated, undisciplined star player. A reporter asks about the technical. Head coach Stephanie White instantly leans forward, tries to protect her franchise player, saying, "I'll take this one," before Clark can even respond. But here's the kicker. Clark immediately cuts off her own head coach. She grabs that microphone and says, quote, "I was just going to say I deserve my technical." Just like that. No excuses, no blaming the refs, no shifting responsibility. She owned it completely. White starts laughing, says they don't need to be paying unnecessary fines to the league office. But think about the psychology of that moment. The coach actively tried to shield her young superstar from media scrutiny and financial penalties. And the player refused the shield. That's not just accountability, that's leadership. That's the exact type of internal chemistry between coach and star that builds championship dynasties. Despite all the chaotic messaging from the front office this season, this one exchange proves White and Clark are communicating and trusting each other where it matters most. Now get this. What Clark said about officiating just days before that technical foul reveals something massive about her evolution as a player. After the opening night loss to Dallas, she stood at that podium and said, "I think I honestly could have probably got a couple more calls on a few of them, but that's okay." Don't let the polite delivery fool you. That's a seismic shift. That's Caitlin Clark for the first time in her professional career, publicly acknowledging she's not getting the whistle she deserves when she attacks the rim. Remember the 2024 rookie season? She absorbed every hard foul, every blind side screen, every uncalled hack in the paint, and said absolutely nothing. She took the punishment silently. The 2026 version has found her voice. She understands her leverage. She knows what percentage of economic activity she generates for this league, and she's no longer willing to accept a different set of rules. Wait, it gets even crazier. The most important revelation has nothing to do with referees. It's about a brand new coaching directive from Stephanie White that nobody in mainstream media bothered to translate. White publicly revealed they're implementing a completely new offensive philosophy for Clark. She said Clark is being challenged to play in line to in line across the floor instead of top of the key to top of the key. Let me break down what that coach speak actually means. When White says in line to in line, she's confirming the implementation of an off-ball philosophy that hardcore fans have been debating since draft night. The days of Clark bringing the ball up court, stopping at the top of the arc, and dribbling stationary while waiting for plays to develop, officially over. The directive is crystal clear. Don't just operate at the top of the key holding the ball. Move through the lane, cut violently through the paint, come off staggered screens, get from one side of the floor to the other. This isn't about taking the ball out of Clark's hands. It's about fundamentally changing where she receives it. Instead of initiating offense from a dead stop 30 feet from the basket, she's being asked to move through complex actions and catch the ball already moving downhill toward the rim. The theory, continuous movement creates significantly easier, higher percentage shots than stationary catches against set defenses. And this connects perfectly to the harsh but accurate critique from Rachel Demita after opening night. Demita went on her platform and called out exactly what everyone saw but nobody wanted to say. The basketball was moving horribly against Dallas. The Wings had 10 more assists than Indiana in the first half alone. The Fever looked completely isolated and stagnant offensively. That critique was 100% legitimate. Under Clark's command in the opener, they reverted to heavy stationary offense. Clark standing at the top. Kelsey Mitchell isolated on the wing. Aaliyah Boston planted in the low post. 0 backdoor cuts. 0 off-ball movement. No secondary actions to confuse the defense. That's not the Fever at maximum potential. At their best, they're a flowing motion offense where Clark's gravitational pull drags defenses out of position and creates massive driving lanes for everyone else. Here's where the three-point shooting slump enters the picture, and this is where Clark dropped the most revealing comment of her entire professional career. The numbers are alarming. 3 for 16 from three-point range over her first 2 games. That's 18.75%. For a player who shot an effortless 40% from deep at FIBA qualifiers just 2 months ago, who spent her entire offseason working with renowned shooting coach Brandon Payne to optimize her mechanics, 18.75% is concerning. But context matters. Against Dallas, she was creating highly contested shots against one of the premier defensive units in the world. Against the Sparks, she was forced into desperate attempts late in shot clocks because the offense bogged down. If you watch the tape closely, her mechanical release looks clean. Her form isn't broken, but the rhythm, the flow, the energy transfer from lower body to shooting pocket is visibly off. That's rust. That's correctable. And when discussing her physical condition and shooting struggles, Clark delivered what might be the most brutally honest comment any professional athlete has ever made. She said, "There are definitely days where I still sometimes feel sore, but it's like the mental battle. Your body is fine, you put in the work, and it's just kind of getting over that mental hurdle." Stop and process the magnitude of that admission. She's telling the entire world she's actively fighting a psychological battle on the basketball court right now. She knows medically her body is capable. She knows mechanically the shot is there. But after enduring 14 grueling months of continuous basketball, terrifying injury scares, constant back adjustments, flagrant fouls, and the relentless pressure of carrying the economic weight of an entire league on her shoulders, the mental trust in her own physical body is still rebuilding. The trauma of last year's physical punishment created a psychological barrier. That's remarkably honest. Most players hide the mental battle. They project false bravado, unbreakable confidence they don't actually feel internally. They give safe, boring answers about getting back in the gym. Clark didn't do that. She told the unvarnished truth clinically, like someone reporting on their own recovery process with complete objectivity. So here's the bottom line that mainstream media is completely failing to comprehend. Over 72 hours, we received 5 massive pieces of actionable information directly from Clark and White. Her body is physically healthy. but the mental battle to trust it again is ongoing. She believes she should get more foul calls and isn't afraid to say it. She'll hold herself accountable when crossing professional lines with officials. The three-point shot is statistically off, but mechanically sound. And White implemented a specific off-ball directive to create better rhythm and easier shots. None of this is catastrophic. All of it is workable. Even with documented struggles and mental hurdles, Clark is averaging 22 points and 7.3 assists per game. In the midst of what everyone calls a slump, she's dropping elite numbers while the playmaking remains completely intact. The level of honesty she's providing fans is unprecedented. The internal leadership is emerging. The chemistry with her coach is undeniable. And we're connecting these dots while everyone else chases lazy headlines. So drop your take in the comments right now. Is Clark's three-point slump a real long-term concern or just early season rust from a player getting over mental hurdles? Will White's new system fix the stagnant offense? I want every prediction down below. If this breakdown opened your eyes to what's really happening, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit notifications because this season is just getting started, and the storylines are only getting bigger.